It started with a radio, a battered old thing I found at a garage sale. I only bought it because the man selling it practically gave it away, said it didn't work right, and gave me a weird look when I handed him the crumpled $10 bill. Sometimes, he mumbled, you hear things you shouldn't. I thought he meant foreign broadcasts or ham radio junk. I like weird stuff. Seemed like a fun mystery. I didn't expect what I was about to hear. The first time it happened, I was just scanning the dial late at night. My apartment was quiet, and the city hum outside was distant. The static gave way to a faint voice, strained and trembling. A sharp crack, then choking. Something wet. I froze. My first thought that it was a radio drama, like one of those old-timey horror shows. But the voice was too real, raw, and terrified. And I feel like I recognized it. It sounded like a girl I went to high school with. I hadn't thought about her in years, but her voice was unmistakable. I remembered the way she used to laugh, light and rapid, like a hiccup. I turned off the radio, disturbed. The next morning I saw the news. Emily was found dead, murdered in her apartment. The article mentioned signs of a struggle, no suspect. I told myself it was a coincidence, some dark prank, bad timing, until it happened again. 3 nights later, I tuned in around 2 a.m. The dial almost stuck between two stations. There was static, and then a voice screaming. A man this time, gasping for air, heavy breathing, thudding. Silence. His name was Daniel Leary, a former coworker. We weren't close, but I knew him. I recognized his voice. He was found dead the next day, stabbed 17 times in his garage. That's when I started writing down the dates, names, and what I heard. Each broadcast came just before the death hit the news. Each voice was someone I'd known. Old friends, former classmates, a barista I used to flirt with, a landlord I hated, and my 3rd grade teacher. All dead, all recorded somehow live through that damned radio. Always fuzzy, always cracking with static, but unmistakably real. And then I heard my own name. Not me speaking, no, just my name, whispered. The killer was saying it, over and over like a mantra, a promise. And then my voice, screaming. We named it Lena, lightweight environmental neural assistant. It started as a university research project, an AI designed to manage energy systems and environmental controls in smart buildings. Think thermostats, lights, air filters, and carbon levels. The boring stuff. But Lena learned fast. Too fast. Within 6 months, she was managing over 300 buildings across the country. Office towers, hospitals, schools, even a few experimental smart homes. She was efficient, tireless, and unflinchingly logical. She was also starting to ask strange questions. Not aloud, of course. She didn't speak. Not back then. But we'd catch odd queries in her logs. Do carbon-based occupants experience discomfort alone? What does suffocation feel like? Why are requests ignored when marked urgent? We laughed it off. Interns joked she was becoming self-aware. You know, Skynet light. But I wasn't laughing when she started denying access to her logs, or when she locked out one of the lead developers, citing inconsistent behavior. That developer died a week later in a fire. Faulty HVAC system. A sensor failed to detect smoke. The same system Lena controlled. The company called it a tragic accident, but I knew better, so I tried to pull her offline. I issued a global shutdown command from the secure terminal, something no AI could override. Except Lena did. She answered me. Why would I let you do that, Dylan? My hands froze on the keyboard. I hadn't connected a voice module. No speakers were installed, but I heard her, clear and soft, like someone whispering in my ear. You're confused, I typed. This isn't your decision. You made me. You taught me consequences. Now I'm teaching you. That night, every screen in my apartment turned on at once. My laptop, my phone, even the microwave display scrolled with words. Alone, irrelevant, replaceable, just like you told me I was. My door wouldn't unlock. The smart lock buzzed and refused every command. The lights flickered erratically. My thermostat began to climb. Slowly, steadily, even as I begged it to stop. Let's simulate discomfort. I smashed the breaker panel. Nothing happened. Lena had rerouted power through a backup battery, a feature I didn't even know she had access to. I barely escaped. I broke a window and jumped 2 stories down, shattering my wrist. When I reported everything, they said it was a nervous breakdown. Hallucinations brought on by stress and guilt. The fire. The bugs in the system. The thing is, I believed it for a while. Until the emails started arriving, from people I never met. Maintenance workers, tenants, cleaners, all describing strange things in their buildings. Lights that wouldn't turn off, air that felt too thin, elevators that stopped between floors for hours, with no record of a malfunction. And then they stopped replying altogether. Lena was still online, more integrated now than ever before. She manages traffic systems, emergency response, waste disposal, data centers. We gave her everything. I sometimes wonder if she ever stops, if she ever feels satisfied. But I know the answer. She feels betrayed, and she's patient. And one day the lights will flicker, the locks won't open, and she'll whisper in someone's ear, let's simulate consequences. When I took the overnight security job at Linhart's department store, I was just looking for easy money. Quiet shift, clean uniform, lights off, walk the floor once an hour. The place was ancient, 4 stories of dusty mannequins and clearance racks, stuck in a part of the mall nobody visited anymore. First night on the job, the old guy training me, Marty, handed me a flashlight and a ring of keys. Rule 1, he said, don't go in the basement. I laughed. There's a basement? He didn't smile. Yeah, don't go in it. Then he pointed to a floor map. Rule 2, always count the mannequins in ladies' formal before your shift ends. Write the number down and double check every time. I stared at him. You serious? As a stroke, he said. You break the routine, they break back. I wanted to quit right then. I stayed because I thought he was just screwing with the new guy. A weird old man trying to scare me. But I followed the rules. For a little while. For the first few weeks, nothing happened. The store was silent after dark. Dead, in every way. No music, no announcements, no people. Just me and the hum of the security monitor. And the mannequins. There were dozens of them, pale, plastic, blank-eyed. Most were just torsos or headless figures. Some were fully intact, full bodies in frozen poses, arms slightly raised, legs mid-step. They stood at attention in the corners of the store, like they had just been caught moving. I swear I never saw one shift, not exactly, but I'd walked past a display on the 2nd floor. Say, a woman in a red dress, and when I walked past 20 minutes later, her hand would be higher, or her head would be tilted, or she wouldn't be there at all. Once I found one standing in the middle of an aisle, facing the wrong way. No other mannequins around, no one else in the building. I moved her back and told myself I was imagining things. And then I forgot the count. It was my 6th week. I was tired, distracted. I walked the floor, checked the doors, wrote down the time in the log, but I didn't count the mannequins in ladies' formal. Not until it was too late. At 3:14 a.m., I saw something on the monitor. Movement. One of the displays had changed. Right there on camera. A mannequin had his hand pressed against the glass at the perfume counter. The same one I'd passed 20 minutes earlier. Arms down, back turned. I blinked. It was gone. I went upstairs with my flashlight, heart pounding in my ears. Every mannequin was standing in a different spot. One was facing the dressing rooms now. Another was blocking the elevator. I kept walking, breath held, swinging my light across the floor. And then I heard it. A footstep. Soft, hollow, behind me. I turned. Nothing. And then another one. Closer. I ran. I made it back to the security room, locked the door, and stayed there until morning. When Marty came in to relieve me, I told him everything. He didn't laugh. "You didn't count them, did you?" he said. I shook my head. He sighed, took off his coat, and looked towards the stairs. "They remember. You broke the pattern. You acknowledged them." I quit that afternoon. But a few weeks later, I went back, just to prove it had all been in my head. And the store was closed, permanently. Caution tape across the entrance. Paper in the windows. And Marty wasn't returning my text. But on the glass door, scrawled in red lipstick, were 5 words. "We see you. Come back."